Shalom. All praises to YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Day Shalom. This lesson, focusing on what's getting ready to take place. World War III, and this is, with the President Trump being in office, we're looking at these things, hoping that this is the year that these things are going to happen. Jacob's Trouble, the MOTB, World War III, and our deliverance out of here. So I'm going to start here. This is Revelation chapter 17, and I'll start at verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So the 10 horns represents EU, and the beast representing NATO. And these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So the NATO nations, or not the NATO nations, the EU nations, which a lot of them are shared between the two, because you have some nations that are in the EU that are also in NATO, and then you'll have some nations that are a part of NATO but not a part of the EU, which the EU being the European Union and NATO being the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And so this was based off this this article that I'm going to go to, and a few other articles, because this article is titled "Swedish Forces, Hundreds of Swedish Forces Arrive in Latvia in Largest Deployment with NATO to Date." So Sweden was once, it is a part of the EU. Now it's a part of NATO, and it's, helping with the beast. So this is Warsaw, Poland, and this article came out January 18th, 2025. So this is only, a few days ago. It says, Warsaw, Poland, hundreds of Swedish troops arrived in Latvia on Saturday to join Canadian-led multinational brigade. To join a Canadian-led multinational brigade along NATO's eastern flank, a mission Sweden is calling its most significant operation so far as a member of the Western Defense Alliance. A ship carrying parts of a mechanized infantry battalion arrived early Saturday in the port of Riga, the Latvian capital. So I have a map pulled up just so you can see where all these things, I don't want to use Google Maps, where these things are mostly taking place. So you see Sweden here. It doesn't say exactly where they took off from, but I'm sure there's something that might show some bases. So here's Riga in Latvia, and I don't remember, it does say this town, but just showing you, where they are. So Latvia, Belarus, and Ukraine, you see they're right there. There's currently the war going on, which is really a proxy between the Western world. It's really NATO and all the countries, all those NATO countries fighting against Russia there through the guise of being in Ukraine, because all those weapons that they're receiving are coming from the U.S. and NATO. And then Russia is right here at the border. So, what they're doing is they're building up troops at the border. Plus Belarus is a Russian ally, so they're right there in between. But back to the article. Latvia borders Russia to its east and Russia ally Belarus to its southeast. Tensions are high across Central Europe due to Russia's war against Ukraine, which they're saying is Russia's war against Ukraine, but who's supplying Ukraine is all the NATO countries. They're supplying with them money, ammunition, weaponry, drones, troops. Sweden's armed forces said the mission of 550 troops will contribute to the alliance's deterrence and defense efforts to ensure stability in the region, and that it marks Sweden's largest commitment yet since joining NATO last year. Commander Lieutenant Colonel Heinrich Rosdahl of the 71st Battalion said he felt great pride in contributing to the alliance's collective defense. It is a historic day, but at the same time, it is our new normal. So this here is a new normal. You know, war, rumors of war, you know, things like that. You know, instability. You know, looking at Elon Musk's Kekius Maximus. When you look into that, you know, that Egyptian god Kek. You know, it goes into darkness and chaos. You know, these are very dark, chaotic times that we're entering into. The Swedish troops join one of 8 NATO brigades along the alliance's eastern flank. The battalion is stationed outside the town of Adazi near Riga. So let's look again. Oh, that's Lithuania. Oh, okay, so that's to the northeast. Okay, so you know, it even helps for myself, you know, to look. You know, you'll hear the apostles, elders say that. You know, looking at maps, they do help. They really do. You're seeing, you're looking at the battlefield, the situations, all the things going on around the world. So you see, you know, troops being built up around Latvia. You know, there's war in Ukraine. You know, there's things going on all over the world, and eventually, hey, all these troops are going to be gathered in the Middle East. You know, in the valley of Yahawashi. So, just so you know where everything is headed. So, finish off the article. It says the Swedish troops join one of 8 NATO brigades along the alliance's eastern flank. So they have 8 different brigades out there. Okay, which Lord willing, I could look more into that. The battalion is stationed outside the town of Adazi. Sweden formally joined NATO in March as the 32nd member of the Transatlantic Military Alliance, ending decades of post-World War II neutrality and centuries of broader non-alignment with major powers as security concerns in Europe spiked following Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Finland also abandoned its long-standing military neutrality to join NATO in April 2023. So it looks like they joined last year, you know, either in 2024 or 2022. And the same thing with Finland. And Sweden has been, you know, known as neutral, you know, since I remember as a kid. And it says for mostly for centuries, they haven't been aligned with anything. So now in these last days, hey, they're aligning with the beast. So let me go read that one more time. This is Revelation 17 and verse 2. And the 10 horns, which represents the EU, which thou sawest, are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So Sweden, in this part, they were part of the EU, and they joined NATO, and now they're also giving, you know, their power, their military over to the beast. They're contributing, you know, to the beast. They're doing what they can to contribute. So here, I was going to go to Ezekiel chapter 38. Because all these, you know, the beast movements, you know, NATO and the Great Horde, the U.S., you know, stirring up, you know, the Russians, you know, this is all going to leading into World War III. It says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, which is the Russians, the land of Magog, which just means of Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord YAHAWAH, bahasham Yahawashi, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So right now, what you see, a Russia's building up their military. They're building up their troops. They're building up their nuclear arsenals. They're building up everything. You know, Yahawashi is putting hooks in their jaws. You know, for because they've in the what once when the USSR was still around, hey, they were a military force. You know, they were terrifying, and then they collapsed, and now they're being risen up again. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, which the Persians are the modern day Iranians, the Ethiopians are the modern day Ethiopians, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So these countries are also being raised up with the Persians. Gomer and all his bands in the house of Togarma of the north quarters, and all of his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So you see, Russia has an alliance with these different countries, with the Iranians, with the Ethiopians, and pretty sure with the Libyans, but I do need to look into that because that country did collapse. But I know for sure Russia has an alliance with Iran and Ethiopia. And matter of fact, give me a second here. Okay, so just a quick Google search, just Russia Libya alliance. That's all I looked up. It says former Libyan leader, and this is from just a quick excerpt from Wikipedia. It says former Libyan leader Muammar al-Gaddafi was a close ally of the Soviet Union, despite his country's membership of the non-aligned movement. Russia also regards Libya as one of its strongest allies in the Arab world, and has supported stabilization of the country following the aftermath of the Libyan civil war. So, the scriptures tell the truth. The scriptures are the truth. The scriptures are the word of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. But anyway, Ezekiel 37, it's like Ezekiel 38 and verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia is preparing for war, and is also being a guard to these nations. So here, because Russia is preparing for war, so this is an article titled "Nuclear Orthodoxy," and Russia is also building up its nuclear arsenal. Some of the missiles that Russia has are the toughest, for lack of better words, in the world. You have the Sarmat 2 or the Satan 2 missile, which is like the most, which I'm sure they've come up with something stronger than that, but that's just the last thing. And before let me see here. Let me just see if I could do that. And Lord willing, I can come back to that. But this is Russian or nuclear orthodoxy. It says nuclear orthodoxy. This is also sometimes referred to as atomic orthodoxy. Is a Russian eschatological. It's like it's like nuclear orthodoxy Also, sometimes referred to as atomic orthodoxy, is a Russian eschatological, which means end times. Matter of fact, I can just look all these names. So eschatology is the last, and then ology is like the study of, pretty much. Concerns expectations of the end of the present age, human history, or the world itself. The end of the world or end times. So pretty much. So is a atomic orthodoxy is a Russian eschatological political concept which believes that Russia must build up its military, particularly its nuclear arsenal, in order to prepare for the second coming. Sluggy. So this is, this is a part of their political system. This is when you see they're building up their nuclear arms. This is what's, going on, behind the scenes, and this is Yahawashi putting the spirit on them to build up their arsenals, and all these things are taking place before the coming of Yahawashi, which if you look at the signs, all the milestones, the markers, the signs that Yahawashi gave, the signs in Second Esdras, chapter 9, Matthew 24, all these signs. I think even Luke 17. But these are all over the scriptures. Daniel 7. These are all signs of the end times. What's going to be taking place. So if you look at the different signs, wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, uproars of the people, all these things, hey, the Yahawashi created the smith, the waster to destroy, referring to the scientists creating the nuclear bomb. The sword being bathed in heaven that's going to come down upon Idumea. This is that. So again, a Russian eschatological political concept, which is end time political concept, believes that Russia must build up its military, particularly its nuclear arsenal, in order to prepare for the second coming. So it's what Yahawashi is coming, and all these nukes are going to be used in the last days on Babylon the Great. So let's look at this real quick. This is the RS-28 Sarmat. It says name after Sarmatians. NATO reporting name is SXX-29. Often colloquially referred to as Satan II by media outlets, is a 3-stage Russian silo-based liquid-fueled HDV capable. It's a super heavy intercontinental ballistic missile. So you can read more into this, and it's beautiful because the Sarmat is one of the 6 new Russian strategic weapons unveiled by Russian President Vladimir Putin on March 1st, 2018. The RS-28 Sarmat made its first test flight on April 20, 2022. On 16 August 2022, a state contract was signed for the manufacture and supply of the Sarmat strategic missile system. The missile officially entered operational service in September 2023 as the world's longest range and most powerful extant ICBM system. Despite the Russian claims that the missile is on combat alert since its 2022 flight test, it has experienced 4 failed tests, and the most recent on 21st September 2024. It don't matter how many tests they have failed. Oh, they have 4 of these tests fail. Hey, guess what? When the day comes, when Yahawashi cracks the clouds and these missiles are fired off, not one of these is going to miss. Not one missile is going to be a dud, be a misfire. None of that. All these are hitting their targets, and they're going to bring destruction. Matter of fact, since I'm thinking about that, let me let me get this first and then go back to that. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So you see the nations, since I'm speaking of Russia, but all the nations around the world, they're preparing for war. And Lord willing, I could come back to this article, to this, a few verses earlier up. Let me see here. This is Joel chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahawashi bahasham Yahawashi cometh, for it is nigh at hand. So this is you see it with the apostles, elders on down, starting out coming from them. The alarm is being blown. The alarm is not something of mirth and to jump up for joy and all that stuff. This is a terrible day that's coming. Get yourself in order. Get right with Yahawashi bahasham Yahawashi, or not. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So this is speaking of those ICBMs, those MIRVs, the ICBMs, the thermonuclear destruction, those missiles that are coming. Compares them to like troops of mighty people. There hasn't been anything like them ever in history. In all of history, all of recorded history. The nuclear bomb, all that stuff, that's only recent. Less than 100 years ago. And after they're used, they're never going to be used again. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. So, describing the kind of destruction that it's bringing. It says the land is as the Garden of Eden before them. So this land here, Babylon the Great, America, the land of confusion. This land is a paradise, which Eden means paradise. Even though this land is greatly polluted and has been destroyed and raped and ransacked, covered in blood, it's still compared to the Garden of Eden before what's getting ready to take place. It says, the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. So after this place is destroyed, it's going to be a wilderness. A good one, there's The Road. It's a good movie to kind of watch to show how the land was destroyed. Another good one is that show on Amazon called Fallout. Or if you played the game, basically I think in the first episode they showed how the place looked like I think it was LA or something that they were in. It looked like a paradise. And then they showed after when the bombs hit, it was a complete desert. That's how this place is going to look from coast to coast. A desert. A wilderness. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. So when people see these things coming, they're going to be terrified, shitting themselves. Their faces going to be all twisted up like, oops. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his ways. They shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. And this was the point I was wanting to get to as well, with them the Sarmat test. Well, they said 4 of the missiles failed, this, that, whatever. And when this day comes, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his own path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So nothing. This is Yahawashi's missiles. This is his weaponry. Not one of them is going to fail. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter into the windows like a thief. So the wall of fire, that destruction, that blast of wind. If you look up what how a thermonuclear blast works, that's devastating. It goes through everything. I think you have that destroying wind. You have a wall of fire. You have the fallout afterward. It's bad. It's terrible. That blinding light. The earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. That's pretty much it. The point was made, and not one of these is going to fail. So also here I had an article. This is from history.state.gov, and this is milestones slash 1945-1952 and NATO. Now the article is called, this is from the Office of the Historian, and I don't remember how exactly I found this article, but it's on the Office of the Historian at history.state.gov, and I pretty much just searched up NATO history. So this article is titled North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO 1949. And these are different, milestones. And this is just one. It says the North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and several Western European nations to provide collective security against the Soviet Union. Now, I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm just going to jump around a bit. And let me see here. Let me make sure here. The result of these extensive negotiations was the signing of the North Atlantic Treaty in 1949. In this agreement, the United States, Canada, Belgium, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, and the United Kingdom agreed to consider against one and consider agreed to consider attack against one and attack against all. So they made this alliance of, hey, if one of us gets attacked, it's attack against all of us, and we're all going to retaliate. Which, this is also hypocritical, because you'll have nations that are today a part of NATO, like say Turkey, for instance. They might get attacked or something will get happen to them, and nobody joins in to help them. Things like that. It's hypocritical. So, along with consultations about threats and defense matters, this collective defense arrangement only formally applied to attacks against the signatories that occurred in Europe or North America. It did not include conflicts in colonial territories. After the treaty was signed, a number of the signatories made requests to the United States for military aid. Later in 1949, because the U.S. was the top military at this point. couldn't nobody come on, nobody mess with the U.S. Later in 1949, President Truman proposed a military assistance program and the Mutual Defense Assistance Program. Okay, yeah. Where was it? There was a specific. Well, it's right here towards the end that I was going to get to. Soon after the creation of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the outbreak of the Korean War led the members to move quickly to integrate and coordinate their defense forces through a centralized headquarters. The North Korean attack on South Korea was widely viewed at the time to be an example of communist aggression directed by Moscow. So the United States bolstered its troop commitments to Europe to provide assurances against Soviet aggression on the European continent. In 1952, the members agreed to admit Greece and Turkey to NATO and added Federal Republic of Germany in 1955. West Germany entry led the Soviet Union to retaliate with its own regional alliance, which took the form of the Warsaw Treaty Organization and included the Soviet satellite states, as members, or included the Soviet satellite states of Eastern Europe as members. The collective defense arrangements in NATO served to place the whole of Western Europe under the American nuclear umbrella. So under the American protection. So the collective defense arrangements in NATO served to place the whole of Western Europe under the American nuclear umbrella, because it was America that had the nuclear arms. The Operation Paperclip. A number of those scientists that escaped out of Germany went to America, and the rest went to Russia. That's why those were the two main countries that had nuclear arms. So in the 1950s, one of the first military doctrines of NATO emerged in the form of massive retaliation. Now, this massive retaliation meaning that you get, like I said, it's massive retaliation. No telling, you get bombed the hell out, you get destroyed, and ultimately you get nuclear bombed. So that's the threat they come with. Or the idea that if any member was attacked, the United States would respond with a large-scale nuclear attack. So again, let me read that one more time. In the 1950s, one of the first military doctrines of NATO emerged in the form of a massive retaliation, or the idea that if any member was attacked, the United States would respond with a large-scale nuclear attack. So have you seen the footage? You've seen the footage of Hiroshima, Nagasaki, those bombs going off. The footage of them doing a nuclear test over in Bikini Atoll. Things like that. They had that threat. You do anything, this is how we're gonna respond to you. See what happened to the last dude, the last guy. However it goes. The threat of this form of response was meant to serve as a deterrent against Soviet aggression on the continent. Although formed in response to exigencies of the developing Cold War, NATO has lasted beyond the end of that conflict with the river. Anyway, I'm going to just focus on this part. It says massive retaliation, or the idea that if any member was attacked, the United States would respond with a large-scale nuclear attack. So let me go here right quick. This is Revelation 13. As a matter of fact, I'll start here at verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which was the Roman Empire, which gave power unto the beast, and this is that beast is NATO. This is Rome revived, and they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him?" And as I was reading, what sparked this was that in the article, that massive retaliation. They have these nuclear arms. Who's able to go to war with this? How he's gonna respond. This man has power to, to rain fire from the sky. Matter of fact, let me read verse 3. It says, and I saw, Revelation 13 and verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. This is the revived Roman Empire. You know, that it collapsed at one point. You know, the Byzantine Empire rose up in its place. You know, the Roman Empire was split, and then you had pretty much the Dark Ages or the Byzantine Empire rise up, and then now in the last days, that wound was healed. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So now you're seeing the revival of the Roman Empire. You know, this is the new Roman Empire, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? So, you know, that NATO, that beast, you know, seeing that the nuclear, that massive retaliation, anything it can do. Matter if you go down, I'm going to jump down. Let's see, what is it? Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. And you were able to see that when what was it, Kosovo, when they aired those missile strikes, you know, fire coming down from heaven. But this beast, all I did was, you know, this is before I did the lesson today, or started the lesson. You know, I typed in revived empire, because what I was thinking of, there's an article going into societal collapse, and you know, in that article it mentions that some empires can be revived, but it doesn't mention Rome. But I just typed in revived empire just to see what will pop up. So this here says revived empire. This is the AI over review, and I didn't know they would say this. It says the revived Roman Empire is a concept that appears in the Bible's book of Daniel and Revelation, and is subject of several books. The concept suggests that the Roman Empire will be revived at the end of time, which this is the end of time for Esau. This is the end of an age. You know, the earth abideth forever. You know, 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9. I'm sorry. Got two things on my mind. I meant to say, I don't even remember if I said Revelation or 2nd Ezra, but I meant 2nd Ezra. This is Revelation chapter 6, 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So keep in mind, you know, Esau was a cunning hunter, meaning a very knowledgeable hunter, known with weaponry. Isaac blessed Esau with the sword. You know, and that the sword goes into more than just the iron weapon, that sword. It goes into all kinds of weaponry, deception, you know, the tongue, you know, diseases, bombs, the nuclear weapons. So this is what a YAHAWAH, bahasham, Yahawashi is blessed Esau with. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Now, the end of the world, this is an age. Matter of fact, let me get that again. It's 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Let me see here. Let me get this in the GNT real quick. Let's see what the Bible Hub. Second Ezra 6 and 9 in the GNT. Esau represents the end of this age, or aeon, meaning the age, a period of time. And Jacob represents the beginning of the new age. So Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning of the new world. So with Esau's destruction coming, Jacob is set to rule the new world. So it's just looking at this, revived Roman Empire. The revived Roman Empire is a concept that appears in the Bibles. And keep in mind, in Daniel chapter 7, mentions Daniel chapter 7, it said this beast, it had great iron teeth. And matter of fact, I'll get that too. This is Daniel chapter 7 and 7. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So, hey, this great this great beast that emerged represents the kingdom, the Roman Empire, and it had iron teeth. It was dreadful and terrible. Its military might its military might, their rule was terrible. And that iron teeth represented its military. They crushed everything in its path. Let me see here. So even you know what? I'll even continue reading. And I considered the 10 horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Now these 3 horns that were plucked up, these represent, first of all, those 10 horns in verse 7, those represent the different vassal states in Europe. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up another little horn. This represents America, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. These represents the British, the Spanish, and the French. And this is represented here in America, because they were here colonizing the Americas first, and then the horn that popped up, it made war with the British, and then it managed to get the French and the Spanish out of the land and took over. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn there were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. This is a very, proud devil that sees everything, and he speaks very great blasphemous things against the Most High. It even says in the that he wants to be like the Most High. 2 Thessalonians. This man wants to. He's trying to be like the Most High. Verse 9, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. Let me read that again. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire. And a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. And this is the Most High Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, and he's about to give out his judgment. And I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horns. And I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and even his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. And as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time, meaning they got to live. They served, their servitude. They went into slavery after this. But this beast here, hey, this was destroyed in that burning fire that's coming. And I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So this is Yahawashi. Yahawashi is coming, and his kingdom is going to last forever. His kingdom, and the coming and the bringing down of that fourth empire, that fourth beast, that's going to bring in the Yahawashi's kingdom, or the age of Jacob. But back to this revived Roman Empire. This revived empire says the books about the revived Roman Empire. This is a quick. The revived Roman Empire, why the EU is the embryo for. Okay. This book argues that the European Union is the embryo for the revived Roman Empire. It also discusses the geopolitical activities, its role as a peace broker, prophecy expert. Okay. Anyway, I guess that's a few books that go into that. They go into it, but when you go into Revive Empire, it seems like all these people, they know that this is talking about Rome, and they know that the books of Daniel, the book of Daniel, and the book of Revelation are both, speaking of the Roman Empire and its revival, and they also know that it's in the last days. So this is Elon Musk. He did that. People are saying, "Oh, it's a Nazi salute. It's this, that, whatever." Which Nazi means, what is it? National Socialist, whatever, fascist, whatever. Which fasci is a bunch of sticks, which goes back to Rome. What you see, he's doing the salute. It says Elon Musk Rome. It says Elon Musk and the Roman salute. What it is and why it doesn't matter to you. Which, hey, he's doing that salute. Yeah, he might as well be doing a Roman salute, because, hey, even Elon Musk himself is America is the new Rome. He said this. America's the new Rome. Which you see this symbolism all over. The symbolism is all over the place. You see it. Oh, even then, you see how they have the Senate, that the House committee. Even then, going back to Daniel, that beast that was diverse from all the other beasts. You could read about that in First Maccabees. They had a Senate house. They had Caesars. They had elections. So many things. The symbolism is there. Even the scriptures say, you set your nest as the eagle. You had the proud bird, the eagle is the animal. But that's pretty much it. I have one more to read. Let me see here. I'll just get straight to the point. This is Revelation 20 and verse 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Now, this isn't talking about literal Satan. This is speaking of the physical counterpart Satan. Roughly, for if you look at when the Renaissance started, and when the Roman Empire collapsed, how long the Byzantine Empire lasted is roughly 1,000 years. So when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Which, in that time, what did you have during the the 1400s? You had the Renaissance. You had iconoclasm. This is Satan being loose, let loose, let him reign. He destroyed the images. He did all this wickedness, chaos in the earth. He was released out of prison, and shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. So this devil went straight to work. He deceived all the nations, made it look like he's a good guy. Meanwhile, he's stealing your resources, enslaving your people, destroying your families, destroying your air, your water, your food supply, destroying everything, making you dependent on him, taking out your leaders, installing his own leaders that would do his bidding. And it shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, which also the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Matter of fact, let me get that because I feel like I didn't say it right. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Esau, Edom, he is the wicked. He deceived the earth by giving the world Christianity and pasting his image up as God, as who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, posting up them images of those devils. He's deceived the whole world. And the ones that are only truly woken up to this is those that have woken up through Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi, through this word. And he shall go out and deceive the nations. It's like Revelation 20 and verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number whom is as the sand of the sea. So again, even in the last time, Gog is mentioned, to be gathered to the battle, to rise up against, this that's going to be rising up against this wicked kingdom. And they went upon the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. So not Revelation, 2nd Ezra 13. Yahawashi is going to destroy all this innumerable army that's going to be gathered to fight together. Gathers together for World War III. When Yahawashi returns, they're going to turn and try to fight him, and he's going to completely destroy them. And Israel, that place is going to be wiped off the map, destroyed, but it's going to be rebuilt. And Babylon the Great is going to be completely destroyed. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So that Babylon the Great, this place is going to be a lake of fire. Matter of fact, let me go back to Revelation 17, if I still had that up. Revelation 17 and verse 14. These shall make war with the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. So NATO, Gog, Magog, Gog, all these armies of the world, they're going to come together to fight against Yahawashi. And Yahawashi is going to overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So they're going to try to fight against Yahawashi when he returns. At the same time, they're going to try to fight. They're going to get wiped out. There's going to be nothing but dust. 2nd Ezra 13. And I'm going to jump down to verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore representing Babylon the Great, America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they're going to, even though all these nations NATO, EU, all these nations, they're all working together right now to try to deter Russia. They're eventually going to turn against, America, who's at the head. And they're going to shoot arrows. They're going to burn this world with fire. So, hey, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Shalom.